First of all, hello everybody. Have a great evening. So, first, I just want to launch a poll for everybody just to see that how many of you are comfortable with AR VR and how many of you have heard the term before. Uh, yeah. Do we have the poll here?
Yes, Nupur, I can throw the poll. So most of the people are not familiar with XR testing, and
Yeah.
good thing is we are starting with the basics.
Yeah. So, I can see that a lot of the participants are not familiar with it. So we will be starting with the most basic of AR VR testing. We'll be navigating you from the scratch, everything from the scratch, so that you are more comfortable with it. So, moving on to the content slide. So, what is the agenda for us today? So, we'll be briefing you about that what is exactly XR and what does AR, VR, and MR, all these terms mean. Then, what is Unity? Then, how we are going to install an AR app. Then, how we are going to do testing in the XR world. So, when we are testing in the XR world, we'll be introducing you to a tool named as Arium and what are the advantages and disadvantages of Arium, like in today's context. So, let's first know what is the definition of XR. So XR is nothing but the extended reality. So XR is the umbrella term that can be used for AR, VR, or MR. So there are some apps there are some apps that are using AR, some are using VR, and some is using MR. So instead of interchangeably using all these three terms, we use one umbrella term, that is XR. So we have written a small note in the slide here that X in the XR is a variable and it can refer to AR, VR, or MR. Okay. So firstly, let's know that what is VR. VR is nothing but the virtual reality. So in the virtual reality, you are going to experience everything that is virtual. You are not going to feel that you are in the same world. You are going to feel that you are in a virtual world and everything is actually a virtual object there, like something that you experience in a 3D movie, so or in a 3D game. So everything that you experience there is virtual, nothing is real. Then the second thing is AR, that means augmented reality. So how it is different from virtual reality? So in augmented reality, basically you won't have everything virtual, it will be your real world. Apart, the difference will be here that there will be some virtual objects in your real world. For example, if you use a Snapchat filter, there you actually see everything is real, you are real in that Snapchat filter. Only the filter that you are using, that is in virtual object embedded in your real world. And then there is MR is actually the mixed reality. So as you already can get that mixed reality is nothing but it's a mix of AR and VR. So you will be in a virtual world, but you'll still be able to interact with the real objects. Where so I'll be showing you some example of some of the apps so that it makes more sense to you that what I'm talking about. So I think Anshul in the beginning has given you an perfect example of a lens card. So these are the different applications using XR. So this is a lens card application. So you can try on different lens in the lens card. It just scans your face and then you can try different lenses. And this is an IKEA application. So they are coming out with this new application where you can actually try any of the furniture at home without even have to buy that. You can just see that how it looks in your space. So actually it's that's why it's one of the top trending technologies today, because you don't have to the users will get so much significance from it. They don't have to buy, or they don't have to go to the market also. They just have to install the app there on, and they can use that app. I'll also show you different examples of AR technology, VR technology, and MR technology, so that it becomes more clear to you that what is AR and what is VR and what is XR. So this I was talking about. This is augmented reality. So this is a Snapchat filter here, and you can see this lady is using this bread filter here, and she is all real. Only the bread filter here is a kind of a virtual object. Then this is an example of Google Maps, where actually you can see that you are seeing the real world, but the arrows here are the virtual objects that has been embedded in your real world, so that it becomes easier for the user to navigate that which is the right direction I have to travel through. Now I'll show you some example of the VR. VR, I think most of you must be familiar with. You must have played some games where you have to try on those VR gadgets, and then you play games through those VR gadgets, right? Next. Now, this is an example of MR in the medical technology. So, Microsoft HoloLens is an example of MR. You can read in detail about it. We can share the link with you. So basically, MR is a mix, and it's continuously coming up, and it's being thought of being used in the medical technology, so that the doctors can research. They put their research on these MR. Now, I hope like most of you are clear that what do AR, VR, and XR means. I will launch another poll just to check that are you clear with all the three terms. Um,
Nupur, are you able to see the polls? Otherwise, I can launch.
no, I'm not
Do you
able to.
want the Pokemon Go
Yeah,
poll?
yeah.
Okay, I can launch.
Yeah. So this is an interesting question. So Pokemon Go, you must have seen the app where actually you scan through the real world and you can catch the virtual Pokemons in your screen. So let us give it some more time. Okay, so most of you have answered as an AR app. So that's the correct answer. So Pokemon Go is an AR app where actually you are scanning through the real world and you are catching the virtual Pokemons in the game. So I think the first stage is cleared here. So one of the concept we have understood. Now the second concept is what is Unity. So for the development of such apps, there are a lot of game engines, and Unity is one of them. So today we'll be talking through Unity. It's a game engine and it will help you to build XR apps. And why we are taking Unity today in our example? Because most of the apps developed today are in Unity. So if we see around 60% of the apps today built are using Unity. So that's why we are taking the example of Unity today. Now comes the main part. How do you test in the XR world? We have understood that we develop using Unity, but how to test an application? What points should we consider while testing an XR application? So we are going to see it next. We'll show you how we deploy also, but I think you will know that if you have tested mobile application in some time in your career. So let's just go through that. Lakshman will be introducing that to you. Over to you, Lakshman.
Yeah, thank you, Nupur. Hello, folks. I am Lakshman, and I joined as a QA grad consultant. I have around 1 year experience. Now, till this point, we have covered AR, VR, MR terms, and we understood the examples. Now we'll move towards the actual testing part. So first thing that we have to do is the installation of XR app. It is normally same as like Android app we install in the device is same. Just we need to enable developers option and USB debugging mode, and just we follow these commands. Now the question arises how the testing is different from the normal application. If you take example of web application, we don't have any real world scenarios like we don't need to render the any virtual object or anything. We don't have any dependencies on the real world, and the application that is built that is specific to OS. That means we are building the application for a specific type of device, like if it is Android, if it is iOS, like this. Now we'll move to the next point. The we have created a simple demo uh, where we can see the AR app. This is the simple Augment app, which is used for customer engagement and sales increase. We can try out different furniture at home. Uh, yeah, due to light conditions, it is showing unable to find surface. It is alert message. I have increased light. Now it is scanning the environment. So to render this virtual object at real world, so it is scanning now. After scanning successfully, it will render the virtual object. Now it is scanning. After scanning, this hand icon will be removed. Yeah, now scanning is done successfully. Now this sofa object will be rendered. Yeah, now it is rendered. We can increase the size of the sofa as per our requirement, and we have options like we can remove this sofa, we can change this sofa, we can duplicate it, we can view in 3D view, like we can see the backside of this sofa. We can share this link to the another app user. So this is the simple application. Now we'll move towards the actual scenarios of the testing of the application. First thing that we have to scan the environment. In any AR app, we have to scan the environment first. Uh, we have to and the scanning should be smooth. uh, our application should be able to show the alert message if like brightness is less. We have to show, we can, our application should show the alert messages like we have seen in the beginning of the video. And then tracking of the object in the real time. We can see that this sofa object is the 3D object and these buttons are the 2D object. We can see that we have seen that this sofa is static object and it was not moving along with the device, and these were 2D objects and it were moving along with the device. Yeah, then the next scenario, verifying the functionalities of the application. Each application having the some functionality. Like here, we have functionality like we can remove the sofa, we can change the sofa, we can duplicate it, we can view in 3D, we can see the backside of the sofa. This type of functionality we have to test in the AR application or VR application. Then performance the application under different inputs. So here inputs are different lighting condition, different spaces, different angles. So we have to verify the all the inputs are here in different scenarios. We have to verify that also. Then if the next scenario, if application is registering 2D or 3D object appropriately. So here the sofa is the 3D object and these buttons are the 2D objects. So as a QA we have to make sure that these objects are rendered properly. Yeah. Now moving to the next scenario, checking if interactive buttons on the AR model redirect to the desired information. So this, if you take example here, this is the link button. If you click on this link, the link should be created and that link should be shareable to the another user also. Now the scenarios may be different, but these are the common scenarios in any AR app. Now we'll move to the next part, device video recording and screenshot. So sometimes we have to show the functionality to the non-device user. So these are some commands. We share this command to you. Now move to the next part, device temperature and performance. So AR application is exceeds use of CPU and RAM. So there may be chance of hitting the device or crashing the application in between. If you use the application for a long time, the application may be crashed. So we have to make sure that the application is working properly even if you are using for a long time. So how to take device metrics? So firstly, we have to charge the device completely, and we have to just follow these commands, and after we have to test the application until discharge. We have to use the application, then we have to charge again, and we have to follow this command, and after following we'll get a zip file. We have to open in Docker. We'll get the statistics, and we can verify at what time what was the temperature and use of CPU and all. Now till this point we covered manual testing part. Now we'll move to the automation part. So we can write two type of test in the AR VR application. The first is the unit testing. So unit testing, we it will covered by Unity framework itself, the Unity framework, and the main ARIM part, that is we can write integration test using ARIM. The ARIM is a 3D automation tool that is built that is created by ThoughtWorks itself. Now we'll today's more focus will be on Arium. Now
Yeah. So, understanding this slide. So, Arium was developed by a bunch of thought workers. So, what was the problem they had? So, there was no tool for integration testing in the XR world. So, they wrote some code, few file of codes for their internal application. But then they thought to generalize it and make a framework out of it so that it can help everybody. Now let's understand that how where Arium plays its role. So see, as already explained by Lakshman, that the real world in any XR application, the real world and SDKs are not under our control. So the real world, like, you can test your application in an open playground, you can test your application in a movie theater. So nobody knows that where are you testing your application. So this isn't under our control. Then the SDKs are also not under our control. There are a variety of SDKs that can be used today in a AR app. So like there is Google AR Lens, and there is AR Foundation, there are AR Core XR plugin. So there are a variety of SDKs that you can test your application in. Now now these two things are not controllable, the real world and the SDK. So what we can control is Unity and virtual object, because this is our application code, so we can take a control over that. So Arium sits on the top of Unity. So our Arium framework will sit on the top of Unity. So what happens, like different SDKs have different interactions. Like some SDK can have a pinch. Pinch is like uh, pinch is when, like, from your eyes you can control something. Like from your eyes, when you focus in something or focus out something, that is called a pinch. So that, so some SDK may be supporting pinch, then some SDK may be supporting some other interaction. So you don't know about that interaction. But what that SDK will do, it will internally convert those interaction into Unity events. So maybe there's a pinch, you are clicking some object using a pinch. So SDK, what it will convert, it will convert it into a Unity click. So what our Arium does, it doesn't control this SDK pinch, but it controls the Unity click. So Arium will actually stimulate a Unity click, and then it will see that how our application is performing. So basically we write functional test using Arium. So that's how this is how Arium is solving a problem. So it's actually testing our application code without taking into account the real world and the number of SDKs that are associated with an XR application. Next.
Now we'll see how to write the ARIM test. There are 5 steps that we have to follow. The first step, we have to create a ARIM instance first, this we do also for Selenium, also very Selenium driver. So we have to create for ARIM instance. Then we have to do one-time setup. In that we have to initialize the ARIM instance and we have to load the scene. Then actually we have to write the test. In this, firstly we have to find the object in the scene that we'll see in the later demo part. Then we have to use this method find object and the object name. Name is the identifier uh, for that particular game object. And then we have to create interaction. We have to define some action, like in our normal application, click, double click, gaze, dwell, this type of action we have to declare, and we have to use this action in the action perform method. So we have to use the 2 parameters. First is the action, what type of action we want to perform, and the object name on which we are performing the action. After performing the action, we assert some values. Yeah, this is the normal syntax of ARM test that we'll see in detail in the demo part. Now we'll see the demo. Over to you, Nupur.
Yeah, let me share the screen. Yeah. So I hope everybody can see my screen.
Yes.
So let me just show you a simple demo game that we have done here, so that we could show test for this demo game. 1 minute. So this is a simple role ball game that we call it, and there is a player object. This white ball is a player object, and it collects these yellow balls, which we call as the pickups. And as it collects the yellow balls, the score here gets increased. So I'm moving the ball using my cursor. So we have now I'll just explain you that uh, what is the screen you are seeing and what are the different components in the screen. So please don't panic, be with me. So basically this is Unity, that's how it looks. And this, as you can see, this symbol here, it's the symbol of a scene. So the scene here is mini game. So what is a scene? The entire screen where you can see the game here, it's called as it's called as a scene. Now we have different game components in the scene. So one is the main camera, then is the directional light, then is the ground. Now these two components, whenever you create a scene, they will by default be created in your scene. Now these are the now this ground, player, wall, pickups, these are the components that we have created. What is ground? So when I click on ground, you see this blue surface gets highlighted. So means this is the ground. When I click on player, this white ball gets highlighted. So this is the player. Now under the walls, we have 4 type of walls. So west wall, when I click on west wall gets highlighted. East wall gets highlighted. North wall gets highlighted. And the south wall gets highlighted. So these are the different gaming objects that I can see. Now the next thing that you should understand in Unity, when I click on the player object, I see an inspector here. So it's nothing, just don't get confused by what you are seeing on the screen, but take it like a UI component. So like on UI, when you do an F12 and you click on some component, you see the properties of that component. It's same as that. So I click on the player. and the inspector opens and I can see the properties for the player object. So what you have to understand here is the transform property of the player. We will not move into all the properties. We are just concerned about this property here. So why transform property? Because it will give you the position, rotation, and scale. Position means like initially the ball is placed in 0, 0.5, and 0. So these are the x, y, z, and coordinates of the ball. As the ball will move, these x, y, z coordinates will change depending on the position of the ball. Then second is the rotation. So my ball is not rotating, so my rotation components are always going to be 0, 0, and 0 here. Then the scale. Scale means the size of the ball, that x-axis size, y-axis size, and the z-axis size. So these are the transform property of the ball. And next is the identifier of the ball. You should understand that our Arium is going to identify my ball from this name, player name. Similarly, like the wall, it will identify the west wall from this name, west wall. And similarly for the pickups, so there are different pickups and each pickup has a different name. We haven't kept a very unique name just for the development purposes, but every pickup has the same tag, but all the pickups have a different name. So our application, Arium application, will identify the objects from their name here. So I hope you understand this main things about the game. Again, the player object, which is a white ball here. So how does it move? So whatever things it can do, it is written in the player controller script. So everything is here in the player controller, and we mainly control our white ball through this script. That while pressing the down key, it should move down, right key should move right. So everything is there in the script. Now next, so this is basically our project. This is our game. Now where does the Arium framework is here in this entire project? So Arium framework is in the same repo as of your code. So this is your scene, this is your main scene, and Arium framework we have kept here inside the same project. And why inside the same project? Because it has to identify the different game objects from the main project code. That is why it's here. Now let us see what tests we have written for this game. So this from window general, and you just click on test runner, you'll see the tests. So we have two tests here, collect pickup. We just want to test that our white ball is able to collect all these yellow pickups. And second test is should move to position, means like if I'm dragging towards right, my ball is moving towards right or not. So this is a test runner. I can right click on it and say run. I can run single test also, and I can run both the tests together also. But I'm just choosing to run single test. You will see it here. So now my white ball is moving, and as it will collect this yellow pickup, my test is going to pass. So I've kept it very slow so that you can see it clearly. Otherwise, the test is very fast and you will not be able to see like what happened actually. So it has collected and it went off. And if I see my test result, it will show me that it has passed. My collect pickup test has passed. Similarly, this is should move to position. I can run this also. So it has actually also passed. Otherwise, you will see a red. One minute, sorry. So this is also passed. Otherwise, you would have seen a red cross uh, beside the test. So all the tests we have to execute in the play mode, because these are the tests that are executed while we are playing it. So everything will be executed in the play mode. So you have to select the play mode while executing the test. So these are the tests that we have done in our game. Now let's just understand like how the test works. So as Lakshman has already explained, that first we declare an Arium instance. Then the second step is doing a setup. Setup is nothing like you set up your Selenium drivers, or same way we have declared an Arium instance and now we are instantiating that instance. Then after that we'll say scene manager load scene mini game. Now you understand what is a scene, right? We have seen here, right? This entire thing, the ball, the game, this entire is a scene. So we are kind of loading this scene. Why we are loading this scenes? Because once we load this scene, we'll get all the objects in this scene. Objects as in the ground, the player, the wall, the pickup, the everything we'll get once we load the scene. So the second step we are doing, we are loading the scene. Now this is the one time setup. Now comes the actual test. So like first test was should move to position, like the ball should be able to move to the position where the user is commanding it to. So what we do, arium dot get component transform property of the component of the player object. So I have already explained you that this is a player object. And how do we identify the player object? We identify the player object because our scene has its name as player, and these are the transform properties of the player object. So what we are doing here, we are asking Arium, from Arium we are getting the component transform properties of the player object. So Arium understands from the name that I have to fetch the transform property of the player object. Similarly, it will fetch the transform property of the wall object. So it has fetched the transform property of the player object and also the wall object. Now next thing what we are going to do, we are going to calculate the distance between the ball and the player. So we are taking from the transform property of the player, we are taking the position, and from the position we are taking the x position. And similarly for the wall also, for the wall we are taking the position, and for the position we are taking the x value of the position. So this is the position basically. So we are taking the x component. Now we are defining the one action as already explained by Lakshman. Once we do a setup, then what we can do, we identify the objects and then we define an action. Now I have defined an action. So this action I have defined. Now I'm going to use this action on my player object. So I'll say arium dot perform action, and I'll pass on this action to my to the perform action method, and plus the object on which I want to perform the action. Then I'll perform the action on the player object. Then there is also concept of wait until, like you have in Selenium. So it will wait until the player position and the wall position is greater than the distance before. Distance before means the initial distance that was there while we have not applied any force. So it should be greater than the distance before. I have done a +2 here because the test was executing very fast. So I just wanted you to see clearly that what is happening in the test. So distance before and +2. So it will wait till that distance is increased. And once it increased, the test will pass. Similarly, the second test where we are collecting the pickup. So what we are doing here, we are defined the pickup here, and then we are identifying the player object like we do in Selenium. We are using the same method here, arium.find object player, and we actually identify the player. Similarly, we identify the pickup object, and then we assert true pickup object dot active self. So when this active self property is true for this pickup object, the pickup object will be visible, and once it will be set to false, it will be not visible. So we are asserting here that its active self is true. That means that that pickup object is visible initially. Then again we define an action, we perform an action, and on the player object, and then we wait until the pickup object active self have been set to false, means it's no longer visible, the pickup has been collected, and then we assert the pickup object active self is false now. So these are two simple tests that we have written to demonstrate that how we can use Arium. Yeah, I hope you understand the test now. You have any question, you can post uh, post this in the chat and in the Q&A section.
These are some drawbacks of Arium. First is it is built on top of the Unity framework, so we can't write to the another framework that is available for a XR application. And we then second is we cannot parallelize the test. And the next is does not have any integrated BDD framework. So yeah, the and fourth is does not have proper documentation, but we can write a test easily so using the available document.
Having said that, maybe like we are saying just it's an initial hiccup that is there in the area, but it's a lot of help, especially when there is no automation tool for an XR application, and it will ease out your work once you are testing an XR application, because you don't want to test the same scenarios again and again. So it will be a big help, like if you are using it in your project. Yeah, so if there are any questions, you can post it to us. Thanks, hope you enjoyed the session, and please, your feedback is actually very important for us, so please do give your feedback.
So I hope that you guys, that two mystery questions which I have posted in the start of event, right? I hope now you guys have a clear idea that how we can have the infrastructure tests to be aligned in your pipeline, right? And how it can be beneficial to you, right? And we have already shared the GitHub repo. Give it a try and do share that if you have any hiccups in those. And similarly, the one which we just talked about, the XR world, right? So at least you would be able to scratch the surface that even if you have to get started, right? What all things to be kept in mind, and what are the pointers to at least start navigating, right? So at least you are now know that what path to be taken, right? And then probably you should be smart enough to go into the direction. So thanks all. It was thanks for making this Friday evening and making this event successful. Do share your feedback so that we can have those incorporated, and in future any kind of thing which may be a talk or any other topic that you want us to be present on, we can have those also captured as a feedback. Okay, then if you don't have any queries, then we can call off the day. Otherwise, if you have any queries, just raise your hand. We can unmute you and you can ask your question. Okay, that doesn't seem to be case.
Yeah,
Silence
and
being
one
allowed
last
here.
thing, we will share the videos on the YouTube channel also, and you can just search in the YouTube Vodka, you will get a channel, and we will upload all the videos in just 1 or 2 days. I can share the link also. Yeah, post it in the chat section. Thank you all for joining. Have a good day.